The fallow deer grind here in Aotearoa is one of the easiest grinds, if not the easiest grind in the Hunter Call of the Wild 2 herd manage, yet there's still not a very clear descriptive video out there that explains herd management for the fallow deer in an extremely simple way. Now, with my last herd management guide, I think I was pretty clear for the black bear, at least I tried to be, but for the fallow deer that's going to be a lot easier of a task for me. Mainly because of the fact that, like I said, they're very easy to herd manage, and there's not much to it. And whether you already understand HM for fallow deer, or whether you're brand new to it, by the end of this video you should have no questions whatsoever, as I'm going to try to explain absolutely everything. Now, as you guys probably seen by the title and the thumbnail, this is not just a normal herd management guide, this is an extreme herd management guide, which is what I would suggest that you do for fallow deer, because since the last update, the whole 150 rule does not work worth the crap anymore. And we're gonna get way more into that here in just a few minutes. So without further ado, guys, if you're ready to learn how to herd manage your fallow grind, make sure you guys go down below, smash that like button, and subscribe, as it is very much appreciated. My goal by the end of 2026 is 50k. We're on track to beat that goal and exceed it, according to YouTube, and as long as the numbers stay relatively stable, we should be at 100k by deer season, which is insane. So without further ado, guys, wasting no more of your time, let's go ahead and dive right into this guide. So first and foremost, here at the beginning of this method, I'm assuming that you guys have already seen my first fallow deer guide where I explain how to do the grind in an extremely simple way that frankly anyone can do. I would expect that you understand the basics, find your drink zones, get set up. I would expect that you understand how to get set up. If you're at that point with Great One grinding, that I would not suggest watching an Extreme HM guide, although if you do watch this, there's a lot of information here that is crucial to understand, and it should be simple enough to where anybody can understand it. Okay, so here on PC, I'm actually at the exact same point that a lot of you guys might be. I made the switch to PC here about a year ago, and obviously, when you switch, you can't transfer all your data. I used to play on PlayStation, I had a fallow grind herd managed extremely heavily, diamonds several times per run. And since we made that discovery recently about how weight affects great ones and whatnot, strong suggestion if you haven't seen that video, I've just decided to straight up start extreme herd managing my grinds. So that's where I am. I'm right at the beginning of my HM process, just trying to stack some diamonds, and I think this is the perfect example, starting nice and fresh for me to show you how I'm doing it. So obviously, the very first step is to get your grind set up, find your drink zones, yada yada. That's all explained in my first fallow deer grind, and after that point, what you want to start doing is this method. Rotate your main zones one time, which is one rotation, and then immediately after that, what I do is I run for solos. I run for solos every other rotation, right for the first 5 or 6 runs. And the reason for this is just to get your map nice and flushing, is what I call it. Just get males respawning. And I mean your entire map. Once you make it to a point of, okay, I know where my solos are spawning most of the time, you've ran this center river a couple times, you've ran this coast a couple times, then what I start doing, and this is crucial that you do, is I rotate through my main zones 2 rotations, and my exteriors 1 rotation. And if you don't know what mains and exteriors are, your main zones are your 8 zones that you set up on, and your exterior zones are every other zone on your map. This is all explained in my first fallow deer guide. Like I said, this is for more advanced players. There's a very good chance that when the Great One spawns, it's going to spawn in the zones that are being hunted the heaviest. So it's crucial that you rotate your main zones more than you rotate your exterior zones. You want your main zones to be the most heavily hunted locations on your map at all times, because you never know when that Great One's going to spawn. The very first goal that you should have in mind is stacking diamonds in your main zones. You want to rotate through your main zones until you spawn a bunch of diamonds. If you get to a point where there's so many diamonds spawned that you can't stack anymore, start to stack bucks that look like this. Max waiters, maximum estimate that goes way above diamond. Honestly, that might be a diamond level 4. I'm not sure. And you'll notice, the more diamonds that you stack, the more max waiters that you stack, the more bucks that look like this start to spawn in. That is the goal. That's the reason why you're stacking those diamonds in your main zones, because you want bucks like this to spawn, okay? And the reason that you want that to happen is because the entire goal with herd management is to make your main 8 zones look like this. Huge buck there, Huge buck over there. Ignore that tiny one. He'll eventually become huge as well. And to make all of your exterior zones in solos look like this, that is a shot down buck. What a shot down buck is any male fallow deer that has a maximum estimate, that number on the right there, of below 145. Now for me, I'm shooting down all of my animals to below 130 because I'm going extreme HM. Like heavy herd management. Because I'm putting it to the test. You don't have to do that. The average player doesn't have to do that. But if you see a buck that has a maximum estimate of 147 or anything closer to 150 or above, it needs to be shot. There's no way around that. So what you're going to be doing is when you find a buck that has an estimate like this of below 145 as its max, if it's in an exterior zone, any other zone on your map that you're not set up on and consistently shooting males from, then you're going to want to leave it. That is a shot down buck. The goal is to make every single zone in your exteriors, whether that be a solo zone or a herd zone, fill with deer that look like this. If there's only one buck in the zone like this zone here, then great, this is a herd managed drink zone. If there's 3 bucks, one of the bucks has a maximum estimate of, we'll just use this one again, 143 for example, and there's a level 4 standing next to him, well you'd need to shoot that level 4 until he respawns as a buck that looks like that. In your main zones, which is what this zone is here, you shoot every single buck you see, no matter what, at any time. It does not matter the score. Even if it's a small buck like that would be a herd managed deer, you got to comprehend what you're doing here. So many people will herd manage their main zones, and that just tells me you're completely missing the entire premises of herd management. If you leave non-shooters in your main zones, you're herd managing your main zones. The goal is to make it so every other zone besides your main zones is herd managed, and the reason for that is because if every single zone on your map, besides your 8 main zones, has small bucks like this in it, aka your map is herd managed, what's going to happen is all of the big bucks that would be on your map anyways, just spread out extremely diversely, would end up in your main zones, constantly. This leads to more diamonds, this leads to bigger rares, bigger bucks to shoot in general, which is just more enjoyable. And when you have a ton of small level animals on your map, small weight animals, the weight is the key here, the great one can actually spawn easier and spawn more often. Because how a great one spawns is when there's a ton of small animals on your map, small weight animals specifically, there's a very specific number, in fact it's the average weight of every single male on your map, and there's a lot pointing towards that average weight number being a small number. But in simpler terms, when there's a bunch of small animals on your map, the great one spawns more. How do I know this? Because I have several friends who have hundreds, that is hundreds, plural, not between each other, each individual friend has hundreds of great ones. And also, if you haven't seen my video about how herd management and herd managing by weight increases your spawn chance of great ones, then definitely go check that out. So, this here is the perfect opportunity for us to lead into solos. Let's do a quick recap. In those 8 main zones, you want to be flushing bucks in and out consistently. When you spawn a diamond, and we're going to talk about when to shoot those diamonds, because I see a lot of comments on that too, leave it in your main zones. Having those diamonds in your main zones will make it so that way when you shoot any buck that has a maximum estimate of above 145 in an exterior zone, it'll make it so that way the chance of its respawn being smaller is way higher, which is the goal, because when you herd manage, you want all of your exteriors to be deer that have a maximum estimate of below 145, and you want all the big animals on your map, those max weighters, big 3s and 4s, obviously diamonds as well, to be forced into those 8 main zones. It's so crucial that you understand the difference between exteriors and mains here, and again, if you don't, then you're way too early off to be learning about extreme HM. I'm sorry, I prefer it when people are straight up with me, so I figured I'd just be with you. Now, there's only one thing left that you guys need to worry about. You don't even really need to worry about. It's pretty much the exact same thing, but it's solo zones. So solo zones, in case you don't know what they are, I would assume that you do, but in case you forgot or you just want a little recap, there's zones that have 1 buck in them or several bucks in them, and it has to be only bucks. If there was a couple does with this buck here, that wouldn't be a solo zone, that would be a herd zone, like what's usually standing right here, but it's not spawned in right now. See, there's another solo zone down there. 3 bucks, all males, no females. Therefore, it's a solo zone. Okay? Okay. That solo right there that goes up to 140, I can leave that and never worry about it again. That is a herd managed solo zone. Again, any buck that has a maximum estimate of above 145 and it's in an exterior needs to die. Clearly this is an exterior zone because if you set up on solo zones, then when you shoot your solo zones, they vanish and come back somewhere completely random, which obviously you don't want to set up on. For solo zones like this that have 3 bucks in them, you have to shoot all 3 bucks, then the zone will vanish and come back somewhere completely random. So this solo here is good. I never have to shoot him. This solo here that goes up to 196, 196 is bigger than 145, therefore it's a shooter. In fact, his minimum estimate is bigger than 145, that's definitely a shooter. Over here we have a buck that goes up to 165, 165 is bigger than 145, so therefore that's a shooter. Same thing over here. We have a buck that goes up to almost 200, definitely a shooter, and one that goes up over 200, also definitely a shooter. The goal with solo zones, my Frenjamins, is to shoot them down just like you would an exterior zone. A lot of videos will tell you shoot them down, then go find its respawn and keep shooting its respawn over and over again until eventually it comes back as a non-shooter, yada yada. That's just too complicated. The rule that I follow is when I see a solo that has a maximum estimate of above 145 with fallow deer, I shoot it. It's that simple. And from that point, I don't ever worry about the specific solo again, until I find it. I don't go out looking for this solo's respawn because when you do, quote, solo runs as I explain it, meaning you're just running exterior zones, you're going to find its respawn either way. People overcomplicate the crap out of it. They'll make you want to go, now that solo died, he's going to come back somewhere completely random. They'll make you want to go run your whole map and look for that one solo specific respawn. That's just too complicated. Over time, when you shoot solos and they respawn at random places, as long as you're following that method I told you at the beginning, rotate your mains 2 rotations, then run your exteriors 1 rotation, which I'm going to show you guys myself doing an exterior run here in just a second to better clarify that, you're going to find it either way. Does it matter if it's the last one you shot or not? No. When you find it, if that solo has a maximum estimate of above 145, guess what, my Frenjamins? You're gonna shoot it. You're gonna wipe him completely and totally off the face of the earth. When you find another solo, if that solo has a maximum estimate of below 145, so into the 140s, lower range, or 130s, maybe even 120s, then guess what? You're gonna leave it. I was so confused about solos for so long, and it's not that complicated. As long as you follow those rules, take notes if you really need to, I did when I first started, there's nothing wrong with doing that. As long as you follow the rules that I just told you, over time, you'll eventually make it to a point of where, hey, I can't find any more shooter solo zones. Every single time I run my exteriors and look for solos, every solo that I find is tiny. And eventually, you'll only find a new solo every once in a blue moon, because you've left every other solo on your map because they're all shot down. And again, what shot down means is its maximum estimate is below 145. Solos are actually very, very easy, it just depends on how you look at them. Now, one last thing for solo zones, and frankly any deer in your exterior zones, when you shoot it, don't claim it. One of my friends that does extreme herd management and has spawned hundreds of great ones never claims the deer that they shoot in exterior zones. And the reason for that is because when you claim every deer you shoot in exterior zones, just like this one here, if I were to claim that solo that I shot, despite the fact that your boy absolutely messed it up, there is a chance that the game could spawn in a great one. When you don't claim your animals, the game recognizes that as dirty grinding, and it will not respawn as a great one. Or the game won't spawn a great one. And you want that because if your great one spawns in an exterior zone, which is definitely possible, I've had it happen myself, you'll never be able to find it, and obviously that's not the goal here. Okay guys, so when I'm doing my exterior runs for fallow deer, this is the exact route that I follow. Obviously, as I mentioned, I rotate through my main zones 2 times. My main zones are everywhere you see a tent or a tripod. I wouldn't recommend copying my main zones, because our zones will spawn in different locations, although it's relatively similar. For example, this zone here could spawn right here, or it could spawn over here for you. It's completely random. Or it could spawn all the way on the other side of the dang river. Most of the time it's relatively similar though. When I do exterior runs, after I rotate through those mains twice, I always start at this like up here, I reset the time at this outpost here, and pretty much everybody either has a herd zone or a solo zone here. and it kind of sucks. It's pretty hard to get a tripod down right here, and I just don't like the lake at all. It's too far away from all the other locations. And yeah, I have a solo zone here, so I'm not going to set up on a solo zone. But if you got a herd, I mean, you could use it as a main zone. It's up to you. I'm just shooting it down, so I always start here. This here is a solo. Its maximum estimate goes above 145, so therefore, I'm going to blow him off the face of the earth. Good night. 300 mag in the chest, boy. Keepers, creepers. This gun is absolutely insane. From this point, what I do is I always go to this tent here, just like I'm starting a normal rotation. But instead of starting a normal rotation, I just run this whole chunk all the way down to there. Actually, no, I run it all the way down to before the bridge, because by then, their drink time's pretty much over. So go ahead and do that. I will do it as well. It's when I'm doing my exterior runs that I check these solos that are right here around my tent. I usually get to see them at the start of every main zone rotation anyways, because that's a main zone out there for me. But I've had these guys shot down for a hot minute now. That guy's max is 118. He's a real little guy. That one, 139. Yeah, he's not even in 140s. Like I said, I have that waypoint placed. You want to be spotting on both sides of the river, all the way down. Really, the only chunks you got to worry about is right here and right here. There really can't be any zones right on these sides here, so you don't really got to worry about this chunk. But I mean, I guess anything's possible. It's literally like a 90-degree angle straight down. It's legit the Grand Canyon, bro. Oh, and I see a big buck already. Look at that. Is that melanistic? No, I think it's just a common. Yeah, it's a dark brown or whatever. I've been trying to get this zone shot down for a while. Clearly, the max estimate on that is over 145, but if you look at this guy here, I got him shot down to a 114. So this guy's my only buck left here I got to worry about, and yeah, he just keeps coming back huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot him, and I'm not going to claim him, so that way a great one can't spawn here, and I'll never have to worry about that. I'm just going to shoot this guy, leave him, and having those diamonds stacked in your main zones, as I talked about earlier, is going to help this guy respawn smaller faster. I only have 2 diamonds on my map right now, as I'm only 300 kills into this grind. So the more diamonds that I stack, the faster these guys in exterior zones will respawn smaller. But this is pretty much what I'm doing, for the center river section at least. Shooting this guy, leaving him, moving on. I have this zone down here, which I have to worry about. This is a solo zone that's herd managed. This, oh, that's not a fallow zone. There's usually a fallow here, though. I think he's actually closer to right there. There's a level 3 fallow here that's herd managed. All of these zones besides this one are herd managed, and that zone there brings us to the next chunk of the river. So once you make it down to here, what I do next is I go ahead and jump to this outpost, reset the time, because by the time you get down there, it's probably going to be past their drink time. So let's go ahead and go reset the time down there. Again, that whole way down to the bridge, make sure you're spotting and shooting any shooters, leaving any levers. Okay guys, I just got the time reset. Now what I'm going to do is go ahead and drop a waypoint down here. Usually if there's any bucks in this zone, I'll be able to shoot them on my way down, but it's most of the time just females. What I'm working on is spotting across over to there, because this whole chunk for most people has a ton of solos on it. You don't got to worry about, well, at least I don't have to, because this is one of my main zones, but I'd suggest that you place a tent like right there, or you can even come from this outpost here if you want. You don't got to worry about this chunk right now, that's for later. That's like the last thing that I do is run the coast. I can rotate exteriors 30 minutes IRL time. It's not even that bad. That's if I'm streaming and talking or recording a video or something. Most of the time it's 15-20 minutes worth of running. And what I'm doing for this little chunk here is I'm kind of just spotting out there. Obviously, if I see any shooters, I'm going to shoot it. If I see any levers, I'm going to leave them, because those are herd managed solo zones. Now the deer aren't spawning in right now because, well, that's Call of the Wild. But yeah, that's pretty much just what you're doing. Shooting or leaving. Just make your decisions. There's 3 other locations. These 2 lakes up here, I'd worry about those last if I were you. If you see a shooter, obviously shoot it, but it's not a huge priority because the solos that spawn in at this lake, when you shoot them, they will only respawn at this lake. The solos can't leave this lake, so you can literally herd manage them just by rotating through your main zones. It's pretty much everybody has at least a herd zone here. For me, I'm fortunate enough to have 3 very good ones, so this makes up for 3 main zones. This lake is great, man. These 2 are solo zones, which are both herd managed for me. Second to last, we got this chunk of this lake here. It's only this side, and for me, I have a really good main zone, like right here, I think it is. So all I have to worry about is this zone, that solo zone, and then this is a herd zone, which is also a main zone for me. So I have 2 solo zones that I need to herd manage here. In fact, this might be a herd zone for me. I don't remember, but I know I'm working on herd managing it. There's always a big 4 there. This here is a herd zone. I'm trying to get that shot down right now. It's not that bad. These 2 zones are mains for me. And then other than that, all you gotta do is run the coast. For me, there's usually 2 or 3 solos on the coast, plus I got a couple herd zones that I'm working on shooting down if they haven't been already. And then lastly here, everyone has a herd here, it seems like. I've never seen a solo zone there for someone. That's a main zone for me. And that's it. Run your exteriors, shoot any shooters that you can possibly see. Oh my goodness. Well, oh holy crap, there's another one. Keepers. This is absurd. My solos just will not respawn small. I really need to get more diamonds stacked. I haven't been focusing on the fallow too much lately because I've been hunting so many bears, but yeah, every single solo that just spawned in here's a shooter. That's Squidster luck for you, man. Sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's terrible. Drop a waypoint there. I'm going to run up to about that point. That's my main zone. Make sure there's no shooters or solos that spawn in and move on, man. That's literally all we're doing. And that is herd management for the fallow deer grind. I can HM the fallow deer in around 1,000 kills. That's at least how long it took me on PlayStation. Now don't ask me how long my first grind took, because that took 8,300 kills, but typically once you herd manage super heavily like I'm working on right now, you should be able to pop a great one. 1 in 3 to 500 kills, and your diamond rate, as long as you're HM'd properly, should look like 1 in 20 or less. I see a good rack right there, so that's probably, yep, that's a solo. Some more fallow deer here. That guy's shot down. Okay. But hey, man, if this video helped you guys out, I tried to be as clear as possible. It's kind of a hard thing to wrap your mind around. It's one of those things that are so simple, it's difficult. Let me know down below in the comment section if you guys have any questions, concerns. My manager, Lost, helps me reply to comments now, so we should be able to get back to at least 90% of them. For immediate replies, join my Discord server where there's literally a team of people who have a role called @help that are there for helping with Call of the Wild questions. As always, my name is Squid, you're watching Squidster Gaming, we'll catch you guys in the next banger. Peace out, my gamers.